Hi everyone, Heather here with Gaia Energy Wellness on Mystical Illuminations. And today I just wanted to touch on transitioning into the fifth dimension. So the fifth dimension, the third, the fourth, and the fifth dimension are all different levels of awareness, different levels of consciousness. The third dimension is how you feel about the way others view you, how you have grown up in society, and how society has impacted your life through music, through news, through television, and then how you also are impacted by how you were raised. And it's also those constant reoccurring thoughts. Those reoccurring thoughts about needing others to make you happy. And when I say that, I mean you're constantly worried about your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Things might not have even happened, but you're already in your head worried about if they're talking with someone else, if they're thinking about someone else instead of you. That's the third dimension. When people have depression or anxiety, it's because they have these constant, reoccurring thoughts that, of course, could have come up from traumatic experiences. But then you get to the fourth dimension. When you're ready to not live in that lifestyle anymore, when you're ready to start to heal yourself, heal your level of awareness, when you take a step back and you start to say, I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want to constantly be worried about what somebody else is doing. I don't want to constantly be worried about what my coworkers are thinking of me, for example. So when you step up into the fourth dimension, that's when you start to take a step back. That's where you start to look at your thoughts. You're starting to realize that if you don't give a certain reaction to a certain situation, then it's not going to play out that way. A lot of times, our reoccurring thoughts or actions are just our own doing. It's just what we're constantly thinking about, not what other people are thinking about. So, as we transition into the fourth dimension, we start to take that step back and we start looking at our thoughts. And then we start redirecting our thoughts. I don't want to think about this anymore because it's consuming my life. So then you find other things to do. You find other things to occupy your mind, to take it off of constant reoccurring thoughts that are bringing you down constantly in that third dimensional awareness. And it's a transition. It's something that takes time. It's nothing that really anybody can accomplish overnight. In fact, I think it's taken me 8 years to fully grasp who I am, my self-realization, what brings me joy in life, and to start moving in that direction. It's a process, and it takes time. But little by little, as you enter the fourth dimension, you start trying new things that are going to occupy your mind instead of those same reoccurring thoughts. But the deeper you get into the fourth dimension, and the more you start training yourself to think differently, to not react to certain triggers, because you realize that when you don't react, that other person will learn their lesson quicker. So you just don't react, and you continue doing you. You find more and more things that make you happy, and then boom, one day you're in the fifth dimension and you find that thing that has brought you ultimate joy. And I'm not saying it's just one thing. It's a constant pings into the fifth dimension once you know how to get there. You're like, wow, I really like doing this. And this really makes me happy as well. And how can I expand on this? And I would love to say that you stay in the fifth dimension, but we do live on the 3D Earth. So occasionally we have to keep coming back down and dealing with things again. But you get to deal with it a lot better and a lot easier. And you get to decide what's going to be stuck in your mind, what's going to be reoccurring constantly in your mind. But then you're also moving towards your light, towards your joy, your light. You're also moving towards what makes you happy in life. You're starting that business because that's the type of business you want to work in. You're going to those dance recitals because you always love to dance. It's endless. Everybody's different. You know what I mean? It's endless, but it's that joy that you're constantly moving into. And I can almost relate the feeling of pinging into the fifth dimension with when you let things go. You know, when you let something go and you have that long, good cry, and then afterwards you feel good, you feel relaxed, your mind isn't thinking about it anymore because you let it go. And crying is an amazing way to release energy we no longer want in our awareness, no longer want in our consciousness. And when you ping into the fifth dimension, you'll also have those moments of joy and happiness that make you cry, because it's connecting with who you are. You're connecting with your higher self. And all of your guidance has become clear because you and your higher self become one in the fifth dimension. And I also like the Age of Aquarius song by Fifth Dimension. And it's great how the band is called Fifth Dimension. And you can say they're like the self. They're the self who came into self-realization, who started to love themselves, and now they can bring in the Age of Aquarius, the age of peace, and finding that oneness in diversity. Well, that's all I have right now on the fifth dimension, but if you have any questions, please comment below, and my next video I will be sure to answer them. Thank you so much for tuning in, and bye.